It's a great tragedy that many of the creatures that have lived on this planet have gone extinct and will never be seen again. Whether it was millions of years ago or just a decade ago, the creatures that have vanished from the surface of the planet may never be seen again. Human beings, however, can't check everywhere, and there have been cases where a species was declared extinct but actually still existed somewhere on Earth. You wouldn't believe some of the things that people have found in remote corners of the world. Here are 20 animals once believed to be extinct but found to still be alive. Number 20. Chacoan peccary. The Chacoan peccary is a large hog-like animal that was originally defined by fossils discovered in the 1930s. This is fairly unique, as scientists have formed a picture of the animal in their mind before finding that it was actually still alive and, well, living within a region of Chaco in Argentina. The peccary was actually well known to the native people of the area, but it took Western scientists until the early 1970s to finally realize that the animal was not, in fact, extinct. It is the last species within its genus, and currently there are only around 3,000 known to still exist within the world. They live only in incredibly hot, dry areas and often travel in herds of around 20. They eat various types of cacti present in the desert regions they live within, and although they were once thought to be extinct, they actually seem to be incredibly hardy animals well suited for their climate. Number 19. Takahi. The Takahi is a flightless swamp fin native to New Zealand, and it's the largest living member of the rail family. These birds were hunted heavily by the indigenous Maori people, but were not named and classified by Europeans until 1847, and only from fossil bones. In 1850, however, a living bird was captured and brought back to Europe. The species was presumed extinct once that specimen died. 50 years later, however, the Takahi was rediscovered by a scientist named Jeffrey Orbell in an isolated valley in the Murchison Mountains. The species is now managed by the New Zealand Department of Conservation, and their Takahi preservation program mountains populations on several offshore islands as well as within the now aptly named Takahi Valley. There are roughly 500 Takahi currently living within New Zealand, but predictions about their revival are hopeful, and the preservationists have done an excellent job with their recovery. Number 18. Crested Gecko. The crested gecko may not be something you expect to see on this list because there's actually quite a large pet trade for them within Western countries and among reptile groups. The fact is, however, that nobody is allowed to own a crested gecko without a license. They are considered a protected species and were thought to be extinct until rediscovered in 1994 by Robert Seep. The species was first discovered in 1866 and were wrongfully classified 2 times before finally being correctly placed in the current genus. They are not related to most other species of geckos, and their name refers to the fringe on the eyelashes present above their eyes. These animals are around 6 to 10 inches in length and have a semi-prehensile tail that assists them in climbing. Although they were once thought extinct, there are now thousands living both in the wild and within the pet trade. Number 17. New Holland Mouse. The New Holland Mouse is an incredibly small species of mouse first described by George Waterhouse in 1843. After its identification, it was not seen for over a century before it was rediscovered in Ku-ring-gai Chase National Park north of Sydney in 1967. It is found only in Southeast Australia, having never been able to spread to any other part of the world. The mouse is small enough to comfortably sit on 2 fingers and has gray-brown fur with a dusky brown tail. The environment does play a large role in its size, with Tasmanian mice being slightly larger than those from other parts of Australia. There are roughly 8,000 New Holland mice left in the world, and they are actually declining at a rate alarming to most preservationists. All attempts are now being made to save this species of mouse. Number 16. Large-bill reed warbler. The large-billed reed warbler was given a very interesting name many years after its discovery by the ornithologists that study it. That name was the world's least known bird because it was identified from a single live specimen collected in India in 1867. After that, nobody found another living specimen until they were rediscovered in Thailand all the way in 2006. The identity of the bird in Thailand was confirmed to match that of the one from India through DNA testing of extracted feathers. The bird was then released back into the wild. A second specimen was later discovered in the same region, and then a breeding area was discovered in Afghanistan in 2009. Even with preservation efforts, there are very, very few of these birds left in the world. The exact number isn't known, but estimates don't range much higher than between 20 and 50 left across the globe. Number 15. Arakan forest turtle. The Arakan forest turtle is a critically endangered species of turtle native to the Arakan Hills in western Myanmar. It is a semi-terrestrial turtle, meaning that it can survive both in aquatic environments and on land. Adult turtles, however, seem to prefer living in terrestrial environments. The turtle was thought to be extinct for several decades until its rediscovery in the Rakhine Yoma Elephant Range in Myanmar. The scientists who discovered it declared the area a good area of focus on conservation efforts for the turtle, despite the fact that the locals occasionally hunt and eat them. The protected area is difficult to access and lacks human settlement, making human interference with the turtle difficult. These turtles are common in the illegal pet trade within China, where they are prized parts of private collections. The number of turtles left in the wild are unknown, but efforts to breed them have been very slow and successful. Before we go on, do like this video, smash that subscribe button, and click the notification bell right now, or this centipede will crawl on your face while you're sleeping. It's time for today's subscriber pick. This photograph was taken by a concerned individual who saw this strange ox-like creature being transported in a large cage. It was being lifted onto a truck by a crane and seemed incredibly scared throughout the entire process. The man who submitted the image said that he had never seen an animal like this before and that its eyes seemed to practically be glowing in the dim light of the courtyard. What kind of animal do you think this could be? Why do you think it's being transported in such secrecy? Remember to comment down below with the hashtag subscriberpick and let us know what you think and where you believe this animal is being transported. Now on to the next topic. Number 14. Madagascar serpent eagle. The Madagascar serpent eagle is a bird of prey that is classified in the monotypic genus Eutriarchus, meaning that it's the only species with its genus. It is native to Madagascar and lives only in subtropical or tropical moist lowland forests. It was thought to be extinct for a long time before being rediscovered on the island, though it's still incredibly threatened by habitat loss. The serpent eagle has a wingspan of roughly a meter and prefers dense, humid evergreen forests to live and hunt within. It rarely flies higher than 500 meters. Their prey generally centers around lemurs, snakes, lizards, and frogs, which it hunts for from high perches before swooping down and grasping the prey with talons when discovered. The number surviving is an unknown, but it isn't estimated to be any higher than a couple hundred. Number 13. Manito Del Monte. The Manito Del Monte, or the Colo Colo opossum, is a marsupial native only to southwestern South America. It is the only surviving species in an ancient order known as Microbiotheria, and is the only New World representative of the superorder Australodelphia. The species is arboreal and nocturnal, meaning it spends most of its life high in the trees and is most active when the sun has set. The creature has a prehensile tail, meaning it can use it to assist in climbing and swinging throughout the trees. It lives in thickets of South American mountain bamboo and within the temperate rainforests within the region. The creature eats mostly insects and small invertebrates, supplemented sometimes by small fruits. Although it was once thought to be extinct, the creature has since rebounded and is now classified as near threatened. Number 12. Bermuda Petrol. The Bermuda Petrol, more lovingly referred to as the Cahow within that region, was named as such because of the eerie cry that it emits. The bird is a nocturnal ground-nesting seabird and is the national bird of Bermuda and printed on its currency. The creature was believed to be extinct for over 300 years, but there was a dramatic rediscovery of it when 18 nesting pairs were discovered by scientists. This has inspired a book and 2 separate documentaries, as well as a national program to preserve and restore the species to its former numbers. Scientists have done well in their preservation efforts, but they are still working on enlarging the nesting habitat on Nonsuch Island. Although the numbers have rebounded, there is still a long way to go before they are considered safe. Number 11. Nelson's Small-Eared Shrew. Nelson's small-eared shrew is a small, relatively unknown species of mammal in the family Saurasidae. It is native to eastern Mexico and was discovered by Edward William Nelson and Edward Alfonso Goldman in 1894. They collected a number of specimens from the slopes of the San Martin volcano in Veracruz, Mexico. After these samples were collected, the species would not be discovered again until 2004. During this time, they were believed to have been extinct, but instead they were likely just too few of them to actually find. The biology of this shrew is essentially unknown, and it's believed to be one of the world's 100 most threatened species. They were only rediscovered in incredibly small numbers, and critical preservation efforts are being attempted right now. Number 10. Caspian Horse. The Caspian Horse is an Iranian breed of pony, also known as the Oriental Horse. The breed was created in 1965 by Louise Feroz, an American man living within Iran, from a base stock of a small number of small horses discovered in the Elburz Mountains. At least, that is what many people believed. In 2011, the remains of a small horse dating back to 3400 BCE were found at Gohar Tapa, matching the specifications of the Caspian horse almost perfectly. This has led to the understanding that it's very possible that the new Caspian horse is actually a descendant and very close relative of the oldest known species of domestic horse. It is also one of the rarest horse breeds classified as critically endangered. There are only a few of these horses left in the world, but preservationists are doing their best to ensure that this rare breed does not die out once again. Number 9. Gastric brooding frog. The gastric brooding frog, also known as the platypus frog, is a genus of frog native to Queensland in eastern Australia. The frog is unique because it is the only species known to incubate its young within the stomach of the mother. This meant that, effectively, the mother would swallow the young frogs, allow them to grow, and when they had grown large enough, would puke them out and allow them to go on their merry way. The frog was actually extinct until scientists in New South Wales were able to successfully clone an embryo using DNA, which represents one of the first successful attempts to clone a species once thought to be extinct. Seems very Jurassic Park of them, but luckily enough, there's no chance that these frogs will turn on humans and try to kill them. Number 8. New Guinea singing dog. The New Guinea singing dog, also known as the New Guinea Highland dog, is an ancient species of dog that is only located within the New Guinea Highlands on the namesake island of New Guinea. It is closely related to the Australian dingo, but has been separate for enough time that it has evolved into a separate species. The dog is known for its unique vocalization, which many people have said is akin to singing. They were once thought to be extinct, but rediscovered in a secluded section of the highlands later on. They have since rebounded fairly well and are relatively common within their homeland. They still have conservation efforts looking out for their behalf, however. These dogs are shy and tend to avoid interaction with humans, though they have occasionally been caught as young and raised as hunting aids. The indigenous Ipo tribe is also said to have kept these dogs and bred them for playmates to the children. Number 7. Black leopard. The black leopard or black panther is a melanistic color variant of the leopard and the jaguar, so it is not considered a single species. Both, however, were once thought to be extinct and very well may have been due to the way that melanistic leopards are born. Rather than being a species to itself, black leopards are born when two recessive alleles in the leopard come together rather than two dominants or a dominant and a recessive. Because this gene is incredibly rare, this only generally happens when there is a mutation during the fertilization or the inception process. Black leopards are far more rare than black jaguars, and both are generally lumped into the same name, Black Panther. This, of course, wasn't helped by the movie by the same title, but there really isn't much scientists can do for these cats. They will always be relatively rare. Number 6. Cuban solenodon. The Cuban solenodon is a small, furry, shrew-like mammal that is native to the mountainous forests in Cuba. It is the only species within its genus, and it's quite elusive to the human eye. It lives within burrows and is only active at night, where it uses one of its more unusual features to catch prey: its toxic saliva. The solenodon generally feeds on insects, so the toxin is not incredibly potent, but it would still hurt badly if one came into contact with it. They were once thought extinct but rediscovered in 1974. They are currently endangered, and because they only breed with a litter of around 1 to 3 offspring per year, conservation efforts are quite slow. Number 5. Pygmy tarsier. The Pygmy tarsier, also known as the mountain tarsier or less spectral tarsier, is a nocturnal primate that is native to central Sulawesi, Indonesia. It lives in areas with very low vegetative species diversity, meaning that if only a couple of the plants within the area die off, it could be incredibly bad for the species. This was believed to have happened in the 20th century, but in 2000 they were rediscovered when Indonesian scientists accidentally killed one while trapping rats. They have since been found in more substantiative numbers, though they are still incredibly rare. They are thought to be monogamous, staying with a single partner for most of their lives, and are able to communicate using ultrasonic frequencies. They feed primarily on plants and insects, and their communication can't be heard by the human ear. Number 4. Giant palus earthworm. The giant palus earthworm, also known as the Washington giant earthworm, is a species of worm native to the Palus region of eastern Washington and North Idaho in the United States. It was discovered in 1897 by Frank Smith, but was later thought to have gone extinct. Recent evidence as early as 2010, however, has showcased that the large worm is likely still living. Very little is known about the giant palus earthworm. Typical adults seem to be around 8 inches in length, and they are related to a species in Australia that is a true giant. They grow to around 3 feet in length. The worm is albino in appearance and used to be incredibly common within its home region. As of now, however, it is classified as threatened within the United States. Number 3. Lord Howe Island stick insect. The Lord Howe Island stick insect, also known as the tree lobster, is a species of stick insect native to the namesake island of Lord Howe Island. It has been called the rarest insect in the world, as the rediscovered population consists of only 24 individuals living on the small islet of Ball's Pyramid. These insects can measure up to 8 inches in length and generally weigh around 1 ounce. The females lay eggs while hanging upside down from branches, and the eggs generally take around 9 months to hatch. The small population of 24 insects was discovered underneath a shrub on a small islet of the main island, and it's unknown whether there are any more in the world other than those specimens. Number 2. Amuras whale. Amuras whale, or the dwarf fin whale, is a species of rorqual. Very little is actually known about the whale because it was thought to be extinct for a very long time and was only officially described in 2003. Before that, there were only small snippets of mitochondrial DNA in the possession of scientists. There were actually 9 of these whales caught by Japanese fishing vessels in the 1970s, but because they didn't know anything about them, they were either killed or released. Very little is known about the behavior of these whales, though it is known that their song is very low and diffuse. They are believed to only eat krill, though one specimen did have crustaceans and fish in its stomach. Number 1. Kolansanth. Kolansanth is a type of fish including 2 existing species, being the West Indian Ocean and Indonesian Kolansanths specifically. They follow the oldest living lineage of fish, meaning that they are more closely related to most amphibians than other fish living within the ocean. The oldest known fossils of the fish are over 410 million years old and are thought to have become extinct in the late Cretaceous period. These fish were rediscovered living off of the coast of South Africa in 1938 and are classified as critically endangered. Kolansanths gained some popularity when they were featured in the Animal Crossing series of games as one of the rarest, most difficult fish to catch. Well, which one of these animals do you think is the coolest to see still roaming the earth? What would you do if you come across any of these animals outside of your home? Tell us in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe so we know that you're enjoying our content. We're always looking to make cool videos covering the topics you love, so tap that bell icon and you'll always be alerted to new videos. All right, we'll see you in the next one.